Good morning, everybody. My name's Thomas Coleman. I'm the Principal Geospatial Manager at National Highways within the Digital Lab, and I'm joined by my colleague, Sean Reynolds, who's our Senior Investment Planning Manager. And today, we're excited to talk about how GIS is serving as a pivotal tool in realising National Highways' strategic vision. We aim to demonstrate how GIS can take centre stage in driving forward your organisation's most significant initiatives. Who are National Highways? National Highways manage and maintain the Strategic Road Network, or the SRN for my first acronym of the day. There are 95 billion miles travelled by vehicles on the SRN each year. There are 3 times more people that utilise the SRN than the UK rail network. The SRN carries 34% of all traffic and 68% of all freight, despite the fact that the SRN only accounts for 2% of the nation's roads. But most importantly, since 2015, casualties on our roads have been reduced by 18%. Historically, in National Highways, we have often focused primarily on the value of tangible assets and neglected the value of our intangible assets, the data. However, National Highways are currently undergoing a digital transformation, which has seen us progress and mature, and recent research concluded that our data is now valued at over £60 billion, which is half that of the roads themselves that our organisation maintains. National Highways are known as an organisation responsible for designing, building and operating the physical infrastructure of the nation's road network. But looking ahead, we're evolving into more than that. We're transitioning into becoming an information service provider. And this evolution presents us with the opportunity to shape and disseminate the wealth of data that we possess about the nation's road network. Our vision is to adopt a leading role in the connected ecosystem and ultimately help improve the safety and road user experience for our customers. Within geospatial, we set 5 objectives: that everything with a location has an accurate location reference, that all our internal location data is accessible via the Spatial Portal, there is a single authoritative network model consistent across all business systems. An aligned and mature spatial capability exists across all levels and directorates. Sean being the perfect example of this. Despite not having a background in GIS, Sean and his team are realising the tremendous benefits that GIS can deliver. And when we add all these together, it enables us to maximise the value of spatial data to provide safer, smoother, and more reliable journeys to customers. Our primary spatial data set is the network model. What is the network model? The network model is the digital representation of the strategic road network. This includes all motorways and major A roads in the country and is our largest and most important infrastructure asset. We recently refreshed a data valuation study of the data that we hold, as we recognise the importance of treating our data as an asset. Future investment in physical assets is driven in part by the value and benefits that they provide, and data is no different. The outcome of this valuation work was music to my ears as a geospatial professional, because out of the top 20 data sets analysed and valued, all of them were spatial. Or if they weren't currently, they should be, because they all have location at their heart. The number 1 data set was the network model. This was valued to be worth £3.2 billion in an as-is state, a figure that could rise above £5 billion worth of economic value to UK PLC if data quality is improved. This justified the need for National Highways to seek a single, definitive, authoritative source of truth for our network model. We are on a journey to ensure that in the future, we won't be working across numerous network models, but we will be working with the network model. The network model includes the geometry of links and nodes of the highways and laybys on the network, road attribution, speed limits, restrictions, and information pertinent to lanes. The next step is consuming pavement information into the model as we take one step closer to achieving that single source. It is important that we increase the trust that people have in our information by assuring its fitness for purpose. Our network model editor takes advantage of built-in quality checking capabilities to ensure that our data is comprehensive and accurate, empowering our end users to improve the quality of spatial data. Information can affect people's lives, so it is important that we use it transparently and ethically. To do this, we need to communicate. We use story maps not just to tell the data story, but also to build trust, as it is important we continually earn the right to look after our users' data. The network model will act as the backbone of future digital capabilities, allowing users to model the network in the past, present, future, and 3D. We are currently showcasing how the network model can be utilized across a plethora of use cases, and ultimately, how decisions made with information from our network model help to create better outcomes for our customers, stakeholders, and ourselves. We own the responsibility of looking after our information to ensure that it is fit for purpose and provide our users access to change intelligence and historic design information so the model can be cross-referenced at specific points in time, ensuring that users have trust in our information. Our ArcGIS enterprise is named the Spatial Portal. The Spatial Portal is our one-stop shop, single version of the truth for geospatial data. The premise is to empower our end users and work towards providing a comprehensive library of authoritative data sets, tools, and resources to aid every corner of our business in realizing geospatial benefits during their key decision-making processes. A key vision of ours is to break down the system and regional siloed ways of working and embrace organizational authoritative spatial data. Our infrastructure enables us to serve automated spatial data sets to our end users, accessible via the Spatial Portal. An example of one such application within the Spatial Portal includes the single view of the network, or SVN, for my second acronym of the day. SVN has been integrated into the ways of working for users, delivering 3 key benefits: seeing more, seeing earlier, and reacting faster. Seeing more, because we're using more data, easily accessible within a single platform. Seeing earlier, because we are using live data feeds across a greater number of sources, flowing into our regional operational centers 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and reacting faster due to a combination of real-time analytics and a greater awareness of critical locations. SVN enables a proactive approach during decision-making processes, increased availability and optimization of resources, and the ability to track metrics and KPI performance in real time. Survey Data System is a proof of concept we have developed to incorporate LiDAR survey data along with high-resolution driven imagery. This solution will enable point cloud information to be viewed, extracted, and analyzed to enable visual and geometric measurements. It can be used to aid with safety assessments. It can provide information on structural headroom clearances, and ultimately, it can reduce the number of times we survey the network. It supports all aspects of customer experience on the network by reducing the number of road closures required to collect the data and reducing the exposure of our road workers, ensuring that we are treating safety as our #1 imperative. Digital for Customer is a 2-year programme of work as National Highways set out on our transformative journey of delivering connected services and transitioning to becoming an information service provider. The outputs as part of this programme include 5 new external data services available to the public via API, 3 internal decision support tools to enable improved data quality, and 2 enabling services designed to ensure the success and measure the outcome of these services. The decision support tools will ensure that colleagues are provided with the resources to effectively manage and improve the quality of our data. Our diversion route manager will enable feasibility assessment of diversion routes and decipher when and with which local parties these agreements were made, ensuring that the value of information is realised by using this data to help make key decisions. The data services will provide informative, fit-for-purpose spatial data to developers and build partnerships with organisations who will share this data with customers. The digital lab will engage with partners, supporting them to use our data, increase trust, and create the foundation for National Highways to deliver connected services and enable autonomous vehicles in the future. The safety benefits are paramount, and geospatial data will be at the forefront in ensuring that customers are able to make more effective and earlier decisions. By having these services associated with the power of location data, ensures that customers will have the right information at the right time to keep them safe and in control of their journeys. I'm now going to hand over to Sean, who will detail another public-facing project using GIS, our route strategies.
Thanks, Tom. I'm Sean, leading the team that produces route strategies for National Highways. And as Tom said, I'm not a geographer. I'm not a geographer or a GIS specialist, but an enthusiastic amateur. I'm a transport planner by career, but our network is out there in the real world and has a strong spatial element that relates to the places and the people it serves. And I get that GIS is a powerful tool in setting strategic direction. My aim today is to show you the potential of our spatial portal that Tom has described and the potential it has to move us beyond data to sell compelling strategies. I'm going to explore the evolution of our route strategies, their gradual integration into our spatial portal, and explain a bit more about where we are on that journey. We'll also explore the current versions of our route strategies and what we have achieved so far. And finally, set out our ambition to go even further in that GIS space. And in case you've missed any of it, a bit of a summary at the end. So, what are route strategies? National Highways has a license to operate from the Secretary of State for Transport, and this mandates we produce strategies for every part of the strategic road network. We produce 20 strategies covering discrete routes and publish them every 5 years to line up with our funding cycles. They form a snapshot of the network, a set of state-of-the-network reports setting out route-based visions that act as the evidence base to make key decisions on our investment priorities into the future. So, how have our route strategies evolved over the last 2 funding cycles? We first published route strategies in 2015 in preparation for the 2015 to 2020 funding cycle. I call these our Strategies Maximus, as they were, in traditional transport planning style, very long and frankly boring. Technical documents. 2 long documents were produced for each route, totaling over 2,200 pages. Extensive spatial data was used, but minimal use of any actual mapping. They were static PDFs that identified current issues, but had no discernible spatial vision. In the next iteration, for the 2020 to 2025 funding cycle, the pendulum swung completely the other way. in what I call our strategist minimus. These were very short, light touch reports, touching on the issues, PDF-based again, with static stylized maps in the Harry Beck London Underground style, which looked great, but it was difficult for readers to connect our road with the places they served, and again, had no discernible spatial vision. We then come to the current versions that we published in May 2023, exactly a year ago. 20 reports with significant data analysis and mapping used to identify a series of objectives that set out a vision and story for that route, but they were still largely PDF-based. To counter this, we for the first time introduced the use of ArcGIS story maps to complement each report, bringing the content and vision up to date in a modern digital format. And I give you Strategis Hybridus. Just to delve in a bit deeper on how we have used our spatial portal, we created over 100 lines of data mapped and stored within its architecture. We used the spatial portal to engage with internal and external stakeholders with the design of an online engagement map. The maps generated in our spatial portal fed into the static mapping of our PDF documents to create a more spatial experience, which was a challenge as the mapping real estate was obviously quite limited. And this is enhanced with the accompanying story maps, as I mentioned earlier, which helps us break out of the confines of that PDF format. Our spatial analysis helped us to identify over 135 spatially defined route objectives and 195 potential areas that the wider business could use to identify future investment priorities. We also use the Survey 123 platform to gather feedback on the strategies, resulting in a large proportion of respondents agreeing with the narrative held within them. In essence, we now have the data, analysis, and outputs in spatial format, but the main narrative was, just like my fashion sense, still stuck in the 2000s in a PDF format. But could we take this approach any further? This is where Strategis Digitus comes in for our next investment period from 2030. We envisage a more collaborative, interactive, and immersive platform for the production, including spatial analysis, delivery, and presentation of route strategies that is embeddable and repeatable within the spatial portal. Now, that's not that catchy, I grant you. But it expresses where we want to go in the next version of our route strategies, fully utilizing the power of the spatial portal as a system of record, insight, and just as importantly for me, engagement. As a system of record, we want to embed our data lines in the spatial portal so that they can be shared more easily as a definitive strategic catalogue, both internally with our colleagues and externally with partner organisations and the public. We would also like to better utilise our emerging enterprise-level spatial data pipelines and align more with the newly developed network model, as Tom highlighted earlier, to consistently reference the network and make data use and analysis much easier. With respect to insight, we would also like to embed our analysis platform that currently takes the spatial data and route objectives, applies a clustering or machine learning technique to identify our areas of interest. This is currently housed in a Power BI environment, which makes it remote from the spatial portal and therefore the network model, as Tom described. And I think the most exciting opportunity that a spatial portal offers is in the engagement area, because data and analysis alone, for me, will never tell a compelling story. We are looking to use our access to ArcGIS Hub to generate community interest, explore ways to record our engagement activities more in the field and spatially first, and look to develop our feedback processes using Survey 123. We would also like to incorporate the dashboard facilities to make smarter route objectives and extend that relationship with our customers beyond just the strategy production phase. And finally, use the power of story maps and apps to present our strategies in a more efficient, interactive, and modern way, finally killing the PDF-based strategy. So how are we going to do this? Like me, My team are not GIS specialists, and certainly not data analysts, and I am not going to turn them into those overnight, if ever. For this reason, we are looking to use the extensive My Esri training catalogue as part of our Spatial Portal license to turn my team into storytellers, to produce our route strategies largely in-house, in line with our vision. We aim to build on the Spatial Portal to set up a platform that will go just beyond just data, make sharing the findings of them business as usual, break down internal and external silos to maximize efficiency and the value of that data, create an easily updatable platform to produce route strategies content in a scalable narrative to satisfy a wide variety of customer types, from light readers to the more technical deep divers. Just as important, what it's not is just a series of nice fancy web pages, and we get that a lot. Nor is it just an open data source, and nor is it a one-time use platform. We're doing this to achieve a number of benefits by having a repeatable approach to route strategies in each future funding period that's consistent, automated, integrated, and accessible, improving the overall efficiency of production. Essentially, our Spatial Portal provides all of these opportunities, some of which we have utilised, some yet to come. So in summary, I've taken you through the evolution of route strategies within national highways, shown how we've used our Spatial Portal to tell more compelling stories in our strategies, set out how we intend to take this further in our vision for the next funding period, and hopefully show the potential an enterprise solution such as our Spatial Portal has to take us beyond just data and analysis to better sell our strategies. And hopefully, this gives you some inspiration to consider the use of GIS storytelling techniques to sell your strategies as well.
Thank you, Sean. Thank you, everyone, for listening. I hope that gives you a flavour of how GIS can sit front and centre in your organisation's initiatives. I just want to finish by saying we're here to talk, we're here to connect, and we're here to build partnerships. We have massive news coming about the network model very soon that I cannot wait to share with you all. But until then, please feel free to reach out to us and enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you.